Hello guys, and welcome to another video with me, David. And today I'm going to talk about primitive data types, and I'm using VS Code. So what you want to do is that when you open VS Code, I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call it primitive dot. Okay, I've not selected a language yet, so I'm going to come over to here and I'm going to say Python file. As you can see, it's untitled, but we are going to name it. So what I'm going to do to name this is that I'm going to save it, and I'm going to use Control S. Make sure you are clearly focused for this lecture. Okay, so I'm gonna call it primitive.py. Simple as that, because we are talking about primitive data types. They are the basic type of data types. Primitive means the simple ones, the basic ones, the most needed ones. And firstly, I'm going to talk about strings. And if I have a variable and I name that variable A, and in quotes I put this is a string. Okay, so I type this is a string. So basically a string is anything that is in quotes. Let me write that down so that we can know anything in quotes is called a string. Basically anything in quotes is called a string, not just in Python but in many other programming languages. And I'm going to comment it. Anything in quotes is called a string. So wherever you go and you see anything in quotes, it is called a string. So with that said, I think now that we know all about strings, let's go into the next one, and it's called a float. So basically anything in decimal that has a decimal point involved is called a float. So let me write that down. Anything in decimal, okay, yeah, this is how we spell decimal, is called a float. So they're called floating point numbers, but we just nickname them float. So if I have 0 0.9, 9.0, 8.9, and so on, they are called floats. So next we're gonna talk about integers. Integers, not integrity error, sorry about that. Integers, okay, slight error. Integers, okay, there we go. Integers, so, and basic numbers, that's what we just call integers, basic numbers. In Python, yeah, like 90, 100, 8, 9, 5, 6, and so on. So we're going to talk about Boolean next. So a Boolean, as we already know, is anything true or false. True or false. True or false. That's basically Boolean. Nothing more, nothing less. We're gonna learn more about Booleans in the coming videos. True or false. So basically we're gonna learn all about strings, floats, integers, and Booleans in the coming videos. So stay tuned for those ones. And yeah, these are basically the ones you ought to know for now. Integers, basic numbers, booleans, true or false, floats, decimal, and strings and codes. So thank you guys for watching.